So welcome everybody to the Joy of Business Anything Goes Q&A. We've invited really everybody. So some of you might be certified facilitators with Access, some bars facilitators, others of you might just be interested in Joy of Business. So we wanted to just kind of give you the down low of stuff that's going on with Joy of Business, and then take your questions really about anything. So when you came on the Zoom, you're probably on mute. If you want to unmute and ask questions at any time, you can. Or you can pop them in the chat and we'll try to look there too. But if you guys don't know me, I'm Emily Russell and I work with Simone and the Joy of Business and Access. But Simone was the first person I worked with kind of as I started this adventure. And I was terrified at first to start with Joy of Business because I thought I knew nothing about it. And Simone has an incredible capacity to tap you into what you know and what's possible for you with your business. And in case you're wondering, your life is your business, so you don't have to own like a company or be doing something else. When I first started with her, I was just a stay-at-home mom, and really like everything has changed my world. So when we thought about those of us on the team putting this together, we really wanted to just get the information out there because there's so many different specialties in Access and so many different classes, and sometimes there's a lot of confusion of what's available. What can I facilitate? What's possible for you guys? Not only just to facilitate, but classes to take. So we'll talk a little bit about that. And I know if you're joining too, I work a lot with the bars facilitators with Access Consciousness. And as we do at Joy of Business, things change a lot. And we just created a new masterclass, like 3-day masterclass, which used to be called Access Business 101 and 102. But it's gotten a whole new rewrite, like a whole new manual with a lot of the new topics that have come up in Access, like being irrational and projections and expectations in business and so many other things about like money, creation, business, your living, all of that. And so that class is, and the new one is Simone's doing it just this year for the first time and probably the only time this year, July 6th through 8th. And it's open to everybody. There's no prerequisites, so anyone can come to that class. And if you're a CF and do that class with Simone or any other Joy of Business facilitator, then you can also come to the Joy of Business Facilitator training, which is the week after that in Venice, July 13th through 16th. So those are possibilities. And I just wanted to talk like a little bit about before we kind of go to everybody else. If you're looking at either coming to a class or the facilitator training, you don't have to be someone who wants to facilitate the classes. You might be, but I know when I first became a CF with Access, I had no intention of ever facilitating a class. Like I truly took it because I was like, well, I want to be able to facilitate myself and my life. So when shit comes up, I know how to change it and maybe help a friend. And that's kind of how I went to CF class. And since then, of course, I have done foundations, but I do use those tools daily in my own life. And so the Joy of Business training too, if you're looking at that, if you're a CF and can attend that, it's a very similar thing. Like I looked at it like, well, it can't, not help my business and my life and the tools in there. A lot of us, I think, ask for, how do I create more? I would like to have more money, more time, not be overwhelmed, those kind of problems we all come up with that are really addressed in that training so you can facilitate your own life and living and business and whatever that is. So if you're on here, don't feel like you have to be like, I want to facilitate Joy Business classes. If you do, that's awesome. And we can talk about what options there are, because that has grown a lot. But it's really about whatever you'd like it to be, really, to contribute to you. Cool. So we have some different Joy of Business facilitators on here too. And I know some are other like specialty facilitators as well. And I think Lale and Laurence both spoke up that they wanted to kind of talk maybe a little bit about how different Joy of Business is. Laurence, I see you. I don't know if Lale's on. I have to scroll through my screen of all you amazing people. But if you want to talk a little bit about Joy of Business, or anyone really, if you want to pop in, but.
Yeah, maybe I can begin.
Yeah, go for it.
So I'm a French JCF since 2 years, for 2 years, and I'm very happy to be part of this adventure. There are many things moving all the time. So new things to facilitate, new classes. And the team of the Joy of Business is very active and has your back. So they always have new ideas to create something new. And it's very interesting to be pushed to do something new very often. So it's a pleasure to be a JCF with this team. And to be a JCF gave me the idea to create a company. I thought it was not for me, and maybe I was too old for that. And now I have created it, and I'm very happy with that, with facilitating classes and travel around the world and discover new things.
Thank you. We're so grateful to have you. Like Laurence said, like she said, she's in France, and we have facilitators in lots of different countries facilitating the classes around the world and traveling. So if you're also interested in like having a class near you, you can ping any of these people, and a lot of them like to travel. Like I know, Lauren, you're in Australia and going to London soon. Do you want to talk a little bit about your JCF adventure or Joy of Business, or really, yeah, what kind of pops for you?
Oh gosh. Well, when I have 3-year-old twins, and when I found out I was pregnant was actually when I was very pregnant with them was my first JCF training. So I've been was the first JCF training that there was. So I've been a JCF since I became a mom, and have done a lot of classes on moms in business and traveled around with the kids and all of that. So yeah, I'm going to London now to do a class on 3-day business done different masterclass, which will be the first one of those. And what else can I say? It's the best thing on the planet. I mean, if you don't have a Joy of Business, like, what are you doing? I think everyone should have it.
So do you guys, yeah, go ahead.
There is also the possibility to write some articles and to be published on some web magazines. So it's very interesting to write something, to learn how to write articles. It was a new part of the job for me too. So it's a very new and very interesting to discover another part of this activity.
Yeah, for those of you guys, so you might have, if you follow Access or Dane or Gary and anywhere on social media, you might have seen that we have a lot of different, we have a great, basically PR person for Access who gets these amazing placements in different media outlets, from everything from Forbes to, gosh, throw in some other names I'm not thinking of, right? Like really amazing business outlets. And this
Indeed.com, Entrepreneur, Thrive Global, Inside Small Business.
So one of the bonuses, yeah, of being, like, they're fantastic placements. And last year, Joy of Business, so our facilitators, and Simone got 110 different placements in different media articles. So that's one of the bonuses of kind of stepping into one of these specialties in Access. And that's a really special advantage. I think when I asked our PR agent, like those 110 placements, how many eyeballs or people saw those, like, because each outlet has so many viewers, it was 124 million impressions or people that those articles reached. And if you went out to try to go pay a PR person on your own and do that, she was like, that was about a $600,000 investment. And so part of being part of the specialty, especially Joy of Business, people love, in the general media, they're so hungry for this topic of, I'm sick of my job, or what can I change, or I'm stressed. And so it's really something where if you've been looking to talk to people about Access in a different way, I think the Joy of Business is a really kind of have a unique angle in, because a lot of people can relate to it or are looking for something different. And Rebecca, I interrupted you, so go ahead.
No, I was just saying that their media outreach is amazing, and was just rattling off some of the names. But I do know that Lale is jumping out of her seat to contribute and talk about being a JCF.
Hello, everyone. For me, JCF didn't happen fast enough. When I first came into Access, I had over 25 years in corporate, government, and not-for-profit. And when I found Access, I just wanted to give up all of those things and just be a bars facilitator, a body facilitator, because there really wasn't anything out there that really grabbed me, or just, I just loved it so much anyway. And that's when I found Joy Business and the Joy Business book, which, by the way, just so you guys know, at my desk, it doesn't leave my desk, okay? Here it is. This book is magic, and I love it. And it really is. I've always had this joy, this curiosity for business, for growth in business, for expansion, for an environment where people felt like, valued and could really be recognized and allow the business to grow with their staff. And I have to say, I put a lot of prayers, and I think one of my prayers was answered when the first JCF training was put in place. I waited for a couple of years for it, but then it finally was. And it has been one of the greatest gifts. I'm a facilitator to many of the specialties in Access. So I have to say, I'm one of those people that just loves everything Access gets created with. But there's something different about JOB, and it's the team that's behind everything that we create. Like the Dazzle here, every single one of them, they're all around the world. You never feel like you're doing or creating anything by yourself, but that you've got this support. And it's not just support, but you feel like this energy that someone has your back. But in addition to that, you have people that empower you to really create even things that don't exist. I've had the pleasure of having multiple languages in my classes at moments where we didn't have everything translated, where now we have so many things translated, thanks to Sarah and the rest of the team. But it's just been such a gift. And like Laurence was talking, the possibilities as a facilitator is you facilitating, but it's what you be in the world. I get to work with companies. I get to work with people that do take Access classes and not Access classes. These are tools that you can take anywhere and be able to share them to anyone, no matter what their background is. And, it's funny, it's called Joy of Business, and some people will look at it and be like, what do you mean? Are you crazy? There's no such thing as joy in business. And it's funny because then I get to kind of share my perspective with people, and they're like, wow, you're right. I actually used to have that. I just haven't had it in a while. And it really kind of opens up a door for them. And then there's other people I meet on the plane that they just look at me weird, and I'm just like, oh, they can't really hear it. Let's have a different kind of conversation. But it's been, and I'm so grateful for all of you guys here, the Dazzle, Emily. I won't be able to mention all of you guys because there's so many of you guys, but like, truly what you be for us as facilitators, all the different creative ideas you have of new classes. Like, I don't know if you guys looked, there's a lot of different classes that you can facilitate that are, intro classes. So you could do up to 2 hours or 4 hours. You could do one-day classes. You could do multi-day classes. And Simone's energy in it, it's pretty powerful. She's a pretty amazing being that just loves business and just loves expanding everything in your life. So I don't know. I guess I just have to say I'm really super grateful to have this amazing specialty here. And what would it be like? I keep asking, what would it be like if every household and every business around the world actually had Joy Business? Like, what could that create on the planet? So that's my view of Joy Business.
Thank you. Do you guys, for those of you that are on, do you want us to talk a little bit about, because I know a lot of you are BFs or CFs, about the different things you can facilitate? Because I know, yes, I see head nods. Yes. Okay, cool. So I'll start basic, and then I'll let Alan or Melanie go with like all of the Joy Business stuff. So if you are anyone, first of all, if you've done Access, if you're anybody who's done a Choice of Possibilities class, even if you're not a BF, if you've just done a Choice of Possibilities, you can facilitate any class 4 hours or under, like a one-off class 4 hours under, in person or online on any topic. And that's open to everybody. If you're a bars facilitator or a CF, you might be, or we just created a new class actually based on the Joy of Business book. It's called Create More Time, More Money, More Joy. And there's a little mini manual and graphics that are all on the BFNing and in every language the book is in. So I think that's 11 languages right now. So that's available for BFs or CFs. If you're a CF, you can facilitate that one online too, like as a Zoom. Which I think it's getting added to the drop-down menu on the website right now. I don't know if that's finished getting added as a Zoom option because Simone just opened that up, which was fantastic. And then if you're a CF, even if you don't have all the other prerequisites to become a Joy Business Facilitator, if you've just done one either Masterclass, like now that we've renamed that and have Simone and there's some other JCFs facilitating that in the next month, or if you've done before, like an Access Business 101 or 102, you can come to the training in Venice and take that. You don't have to have everything done ahead of time. And then once you're a JCF, there's all these other specialty Joy Business classes that you can facilitate. And Alan or Melanie, if you guys want to go through those, you have it more in your head than me.
Yeah, sure, no problem. So we have 2 levels of JCFs. We have silver and platinums, and the platinums can facilitate a 3-day masterclass. So that's people like Lauren and Laurence and Gabrielle and Simone all have classes coming up this month, and they'd be platinum facilitators that can facilitate the 3-day class. Then if you're silver, you can do the Access Business and Money, which is a 1-day class. And then we have tasters, obviously. We have just the Joy of Business taster if there's somewhere you want to go and share some tools with people. And then we have other specialty classes, and we only recently kind of shook everything up and changed things around after Simone changed the classes to the 3-day masterclass and Access Business and Money. So we have no expectations of you and your business, creating your own financial reality, is being irrational a gift in your business, 7 easy ways to make money, getting out of your own way with money and business, and leading and creating a joyful, generative team. So you actually have lots of choices in ways that you can approach people and share the tools with them. And that's for if you become a JCF. And we also have PTFs. So if people are on here and they're not a CF and they would like to facilitate classes, we do actually have a Put the Fun Back in business specialty classes. And one is Put the Fun Back in Business, creating a business you deserve, reducing stress and empowering people in the workplace. And that's one that Simone really felt that she wanted out in the world. And then there's the 3 people your successful business requires. So we actually have an awful lot going on, and there's a lot in creation. And to be a PTF, you just need to have taken an Access Business and Money class, a Business Done Different 3-day masterclass, Choice of Possibilities, and then you take a second COP or a Business Done Different masterclass. Now, that's super long lists of lots of things, and we have them all on the website for people. But if you're not a CF, there's still a possibility to be able to facilitate some classes if that's something you'd like to do. I think I covered everything.
And if you didn't hear all of those, just know that there's over 13 classes that you can facilitate as a JCF, which is ridiculous. Plus, you can consult with businesses and you can be part of special projects like Kajabi courses. I actually just had one come out a week ago or something, where we threw it in as it was like a test kind of course. And so I just got to sit in front of the camera and talk about Joy of Business and leadership for an hour. And then Max and Emily and the amazing Kajabi team did all of the hard work. And they wrote all of these emails and these PDFs and all of this content. And then they put it out in an online course delivery program called Kajabi. And then all of a sudden I have a Kajabi course out there for the world to see. So there's all these other kinds of projects that we're always creating in Joy of Business too that you get to be a part of. Like we just did a book club that had over 2,000 people on it. And we have this whole list, Emily, of all these cool things that we've created. But just so you know, like when we started Joy of Business, we had 3 classes a JCF could facilitate. So we've come a long way from, those first 3 classes of an intro class taster and a 1-day class and a 2-day class to 13 different classes, depending on what is most fun for you and what you want to create as a JCF. So one of the things that we can guarantee is that you will always be busy and that there will always be too much to create, too many things to do, too many parts of your business to expand. And that is truly like part of the joy of business to us, is that we do get together and create all these things. And Emily, what else do we do?
Well, I was going to say, one of the things that we were talking about is one of the favorite things we do when someone becomes a JCF. We kind of do a one-on-one, like a business consult. So like when you become a JCF, we'd have a Zoom like this, but with just you and then those of us on the team. So like me and Rebecca and Melanie and Sarah and Peggy and Alan. And we go over like, okay, you know, where are you at in your life? What are you interested in? What are your creations? Where would you like to go? We work with the media, like our PR people, to get like the angle that we would pitch you in the media, you know, for articles and things like that. But that's one of our favorite things to do, because I learned so much about, like, some of you I've met at class, some I might not know. We had those meetings and I'd be like, oh my gosh, like you've done that, or this is your background, or it's so cool. And then you can kind of tailor, you know, what you want to create to work for you wherever you're at, and then get kind of our different, you know, awarenesses and questions to ask you to work together. I know that's been one of the things I've loved, and that I know the JCFs have really appreciated, because it's just taken them, you know, helped like kind of, I don't want to say focus, but kind of come up with where they want to go. You know, a lot of us are creators and have so many ideas. We're like, well, I don't even know what I want to do next. So that's been another really fun part of becoming a JCF and working with us. And of course, like any other, kind of like if you're an Access or your BF or CF, you know, we have monthly calls or Zooms with different guests. For Joy of Business, Simone, you know, she's the creator and founder. So we have calls with Simone. We have a WhatsApp thread where we all kind of connect, and you can ask questions to her, and we all kind of, and all of us, and kind of bounce them off each other and support. So it's like you really feel like you have, when that stuff comes up with questions about classes, about business, about sessions, about whatever that might be, you have a really different angle and resources and people who have your back, and a lot of the tools to support you with.
So speaking of which, someone just asked a question in the chat that would be a great question to ask a JCF. So I wonder if we could give a live example here. JCF's first one to unmute gets it. Does someone want to ask?
Hi.
Hello. Is that Rachel?
Yeah, hi.
Okay, here's your question. How do you introduce yourself when you're a bars and body process facilitator to business people in the corporate world?
That's fantastic. So I've worked with guys, and it was an IT company, and I've done body processes in bars. And I suppose the main thing to look at is when it's high stress environment, the main concern of the guy who approached me is that he wants a task done in a certain time. So if it's a high stress environment, these body processes allow the body to become more relaxed. You have Dr. Fannon's backup report, use that, give it to them, okay? The other thing you've got to do is you've got to use their language. Don't go in with how you be, any of that Access stuff. Go in with very practical applications into a business environment. What can you be here to actually create more ease in the workplace? And what you'll find is, when I was in there for the day, and then I started going in once a month, is that people will come talk to you. So just be you, be the space of you. But what you want to look at is it cuts down on employee stress, okay? It cuts down on people being out of work, sick days, okay? People are happier. When you're looking at particularly an educated workforce, when big companies have certain staff, they are looking to keep them nowadays. Google, Apple, you know, all the main IT companies, they don't want to be shopping around, particularly for programmers, IT guys, stuff like that. So you've got to actually look at what do they require from you. And what they require is their staff looked after so that they can continue to do the job. And that's really what it's all about. And also what you can use is, I always bring, you know, joy business, prosperity consciousness, and conscious leadership, which Simone recommends. Simone recommends these books. When you're going into these places, you are going in as the leader. You know, don't have any doubt in these processes. We all of our lives on here have got better. Is that fair to say? When you go in with the knowing, the absolute knowing that your life has got better, that's where you invite people to. You are here to unlock their hidden wisdom. People know stuff, and when you run their bars, their bodies have more space. They continue to do tasks that they didn't think they could do. Just like for me, being a JCF is, I'm supported to be the greatness of me with Emily, with Rebecca, with Melanie, continuously all the time. So what you're actually being here is this: people are screaming for support in our world at the moment. So you're being that space where you're educated on the processes, you're educated on the tools, and you're saying hello from the space of what can I contribute to people in here having more ease in the workplace. I hope that answers.
That's awesome.
Hi guys.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah. Hi. Thank you so much for answering this question, like how to introduce to the people in the business in the corporate world. I just have a small one more question. Is like there are some people who are like just hardcore businessmen. They only look for like money, the thing, and they are practical and logical in their own way. So how do we introduce something which is like in its own world, it's like more energetic? So how do we like, what words we can use there, like to, get them interested in what we are going to say, something like that.
I'm not sure who that is, but I think you can listen back to what I just said, because if they're profit driven, they are looking for people to be in the workplace, and you've got to be willing to receive, people exactly where they are with no judgment, and you've got to be willing to actually be that space. So if you, like what I said, they're going to cut down on sick days. There's going to be high performance because that's what they're interested in. And you can call it something like, mindful strategics in the workplace, or something where, massage is accepted all over the world now. If we actually introduce bars and their bodies have more peace, we all have higher, for me anyway, we all have higher creative capacities from running our bars. So make sure that you use, people are going to be higher performance, less work days. That's what's going to make your company money. When people are happy, they work more efficiently. That's just the way it is. So, and also don't let someone who has got a fixed point of view stop you. Be willing to actually use their point of view to your advantage. Find out what their fixed point of view is, and then use that to your advantage. What is it that they are looking for? They're looking to make more money. How can you actually talk to them in that way about making more money?
Cool.
And one other thing to add to this is this is what we teach we do in our facilitator trainings and with the tools of Joy Business, is that you know how to speak to anyone. You actually do, and you don't even need to think about it. You can literally just open your mouth, insert your foot, open your mouth again, remove your foot, and repeat. Because you really do know what this person needs to hear. If you ask the question that Gary gives us of what does this person need to hear, then you don't even need to think about what you're saying. You can provide them with that from what you just know. So it really, and this is what the Joy Business is about. It's not about having it all figured out and which piece of very important language to use. It's about knowing that you know how to talk to anyone and to give them what they actually need to hear.
Does anybody else have questions? Because that was a great one.
Yeah.
No other questions? Someone's asked. Yeah.
Yeah, you just saw it.
Yeah. Could you please repeat what COP people can deliver? So if you are a person, even not a BF, but anyone that's done a Choice of Possibilities class, used to be called level 2-3, if you've been around for a while in Access, that you are officially what Gary Douglas has named a CFMW, which is a certified fucking miracle worker. You don't have to use that acronym or explain what it is, but that is your official title after taking a COP. And then you can facilitate any class 4 hours or under. So the difference between like a BF and a CF or someone who's done a COP, if the CFs can do like these month-long courses or like JCFs and break them up. But as someone who's just done a COP, you can take a day, 4 hours or under. It could be a 2-hour class, 3-hour class, 4-hour class, online or in person, like as a Zoom or in person, and do it on any topic that you'd like. So if you're really interested in bodies, you're really interested in health or stress reduction or whatever that is, you can do that. And that is after you've done a COP. So it's a really open way to create, and that's available for anyone that's done a COP. And then these other things, like kind of the advantage of, say doing the class that we created for BFs based on the Joy of Business book, is there's a manual done for you. So if you're someone that doesn't want to create that, then it's like, okay, here it is. Here it is for you. And then you can work with it, use as much as you want or not. Same thing for like Joy of Business. If you've done a COP and you're interested in business, you could do a class on a business topic, but you can't do a Joy of Business class. Like that's a specialty. And then you don't get the benefit of having kind of Joy of Business is the whole trademark and the branding. It's like, I can sell a burger, or I could, if, I wanted to sell McDonald's, or that's not a good example, but you have this whole market behind you and people that name recognition of, oh, I want that. So all of the media articles we get and the placements and Simone, people recognize the Joy of Business. And we have all these materials for you too, like manuals created. Someone was asking about translation. So when we do have facilitators in other languages, then we translate the manuals for them to facilitate in their countries, or when they're traveling too. So that's one of the advantages of like kind of jumping in with that, because you have a team of people and resources to use that are created for you and with you, basically. Cool. Other questions?
I love that, true to form. Every single Joy of Business meeting we've had this week has been a quickie, 30 minutes.
Love it. I know.
That's how we do it.
Last questions. Who's going to be a JCF? Who's coming to Venice?
Emily, guys, just one quick thing. Someone has asked on the chat, can they actually Zoom that 4-hour intro that they can do after doing a COP? I don't know the answer to that if they can. So someone's just...
Yeah, you actually can. That was something, we asked to Gary. They used to be just in-person classes. And you know how Gary is with letting go of control of things. And he was like, no, that can be on a Zoom. So if you want it to be on a Zoom, it can be. It just can't be a series. Like it couldn't be a week-long series, but it could be a 2-hour Zoom, does that make sense? So in like one chunk, that's the difference.
And I think the other thing too, is if it's got to either be Zoom or live, not like a combination of, so it's one or the other kind of thing.
Yeah. It's a different muscle to have like live people, and you know how Gary and Dane will do streaming, but they don't actually see people. That is a very different muscle to build. And so that is, it's different, but you could do a Zoom where you can see people and you're live and you're with them, or an in-person class. Thank you for that. Yeah.
And we are getting more questions about what a CF can do in particular, but that's a little bit beyond the scope of where we're going today. Just so you know, this is about Joy of Business and what you can facilitate as a JCF or a Put the Fun Back in Business facilitator. So if you do have questions about what you can facilitate as a BF, you can email, I think it's bars.create at accessconsciousness.com. And if you're asking this as a CF, you can email CF at accessconsciousness.com. And those dazzles would be happy to help you with any clarity you need there.
And if you guys are looking really that masterclass coming up, with Simone or with some of the other facilitators, the one with Simone in Paris is also live streamed. So you can join from anywhere in the world. And it also just became, a prerequisite as a bars facilitator. Once a year when you renew your license, you need to have taken a class to kind of like a continuing ed class is how I look at it. So whether it's foundation or a 3-day body class, but that class was Simone facilitating it only. Gary just added that as a possibility to renew your license. So whether you're a BF or just or a CF or in your life, that 3-day class has more tools in it, like for the questions that come up, on these Zooms, on the monthly calls with people looking to create their business. seriously, everything is go through everything in those 3 days. So just know there's no prerequisites to it either. So anyone can come to that class. It's live streamed, or, you know, who wouldn't want to come to Paris, but you can do it from anywhere, but that's open to anyone. And if you are a CF and you take that class, then you can come to the training if you're even thinking about being a JCF. So kind of open.
Can I add something to that?
Yeah.
I think that's one of the other gifts of Joy of Business, is that Simone and the team are always updating the manuals to the latest clearings that are out there, or the latest energies that's in access. And so one of the greatest gifts is that it's just like you're aware of every new clearing, and you get to actually share it in a way that all of us can also apply it into our businesses, and then us facilitating to others, which, you know, you guys are very speedy on that. So I want to share, because I think that's very unique to the specialty here.
And maybe Rebecca or someone, I know you've been, or Lauren, you guys have been playing with the manual, the new manual recently, because someone asked me, can you give them an idea of what the masterclass is about? You know, it's 3 days, like kind of, not that we can, like any class, it follows the energy and the questions, but that manual is amazing. Do you guys want to talk a little about what is in there? Like what people can kind of, the topic?
And I mean, no guarantees that it's going to stay the same, because since we rewrote it a month ago, it's already changed twice. So even though it has this in it right now, I can't guarantee that by the time we get to the Paris class that the manual is going to be the same at all. But we just added a section on the latest tool of problems. So overcoming problems in business. And we also have a great new section on being irrational in business. And those are just two very hot topics out of hundreds, and well, if not, it feels like hundreds because there's so many. I'm actually just going to go and have a quick look at the index right now. But, you know, it's there's things from like, do you require order or chaos, and being predictable with business and money, and out creating, and giving up believing in success, failure, needs, and wants, necessity and choice, being willing to be out of control, stop being vested in the outcome, stop avoiding and refusing money, 10 things that will make money come and come and come, getting out of debt joyfully, some notes about cash flow, including your body in the creation of money. And these are just some of the things that are in here right now. It's definitely not the whole manual. Plus there will be whatever you get to ask your questions about too. So Lauren, I don't know if you want to add anything more that you picked up by reading the manual before your talk.
You'll hear my kids in the background. They're up now. I've just been playing with like opening it to a random page and using whatever tool I land on, and that's been really fun. There's literally like Rebecca said, hundreds of tools in there, and they're brilliant. Like you can, I don't know if you guys ever do that with a book, but you just sort of go, okay, what do I need to read today? And it's like, bam, that was exactly it.
Awesome. And the other thing is that it's not just the masterclass that's available as a class too. Like there's a lot of JCFs that have been facilitating this brand new one-day class called Access Business and Money. I think Karina just facilitated one in Russia, and Rachel recently facilitated one in Manchester, I think. And that has a brand new manual as well. So, and actually you will see on our Instagram story, if you're following Joy of Business on Instagram, you'll actually see that someone was reading their manual on the train yesterday, their Access Business and Money. I'm actually not going to write the topics in here because I think you guys need to come to a class. So just a little hint and a teaser that come to a class. If you're finding these topics interesting, then it sounds like this could be something you want to consider doing. So you can always go to the Joy of Business website, and under classes, you can find every single class around the world, because we have facilitators all over the world, from New Zealand, where I live, the Americas. We actually have some people in Brazil, to all over Europe speaking, I think, between all our facilitators, they speak at least 10 languages. And after the JCF training, they're about to speak more. So you can find a class all over the world. And when the class isn't coming to you, either make a JCF come to one. You can see all of our facilitators on the facilitator page. So reach out to one that speaks to you and ask them to come, because they will travel. Have a JCF license, will travel. Or you could ask for one to be live streamed. Like Simone's one is actually live stream coming up from Paris. So you do not need to leave your home to get Joy of Business. We will come to you. And I love these comments. Karen just said, I'm shocked at how much I love business now, and it's really changed from the Joy of Business book club. Thank you for coming on that. Thank you to all the people who facilitated the book club. Hugs to you. That's so sweet. Thanks, Karen. That's awesome. All right, guys. Is there anything else that we want to include in our little JCF? Anything goes Q&A?
Can I ask a question?
Of course.
Maybe a totally different one, but I noticed that Simone always speaks about like the kingdom of we. So she's so creating the business and the joy of business, not just for herself or not just for access. It's just so putting it out in the world and making it even better. She always, like on our podcast, she says like greater for you and the planet. Is it something you see coming up in the classes too? Can you expand on that or tell something about that? Is it?
JCFs, who wants to pick up the question?
I think I can, but Linda, can you say the question again? Because a lot of what you shared is actually what Simone bees in the world. So what's the, can you guide me a little more on your question?
Yeah, my question is actually like, how can you see the kingdom of we feeling in the classes that there are, like the Masterclass or the CF class? Can you tell something about it? If that's I'm sorry, I cannot. Do you get it? Or?
Doing great. You're doing great. You know, I don't know if I'm the best person to answer this question, only because the kingdom of we is how I function. That's all I know. So for me, there's the oneness of everything, including all the specialties in my classes. And so I love that you were able to perceive that with Simone and with Joy of Business. It's not about looking at just Joy of Business, because business is the adventure of your life. So it's about including you. It's about including your relationships. It's including your business. It's including money. It includes all these aspects. And when you're willing to be that too, what you actually allow to be available in your classes is that. And of course, people then get to choose if they're willing to have that or the pieces that they're going to actually receive. You know, for me, it is blood's running through my vein. That is Joy of Business for me. That is me waking up every day with the joy of creation, the joy of empowering people to know they actually can add more to their life. They can add more to their business. They can add more to their finances. So I'm not sure if I answered it in terms of what you were actually looking for, but I think it starts with you as the facilitator, and Simone has it, but so do everybody else in that dazzle. And that's why I want to go back to what I said earlier. You always feel supported, that you are part of that kingdom of we with this team.
And I would add to that, like if you're looking at something that does come up in all classes and with Simone and Access, and is if you've separated your life into like, this is my job and this is my family and this is my social life, or this is that, those barriers go away. Like when Simone says your life is your business is your life, that energy that you're perceiving, that like kingdom of we, I know and I can't think of it's just kind of in every topic, but that is addressed in the classes and the training, because it gets you out of thinking everything has to be separate, or that you only have to work with an Access person to create a business, or that when you go out to your kids' function, like that is like at school, that is creating your life. And if you're open to not separating it, that kingdom of we, you allow everything to contribute to you. Same when someone has a judgment of you or whatever is going on. Like one of the things I have, gotten so much from Simone is letting everything contribute and not sectioning off your life into these different compartments, so that everything you're doing when you're walking your dog or taking a shower, or it can all like start to flow together. So so if that's what you're addressing, then asking, then yes, that's something we kind of talk about from every angle, really,
Okay, cool. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Emily, can I just add one little piece to that? Simone has this energy where the joy of business isn't actually hers. It's not that it's owned by anyone. It's a living, breathing orgasm where it's contributing to all our lives. And for me, the most beautiful thing for joy business is to see someone sitting in front of you and to see their whole world change because they have a point of view that they're not good at business because they didn't do judgment or projection and expectation. And when people start to see that it's all about what you love, like the business of living is what you love doing from that place, no matter what it is. And to see people get excited, and you talked about Denise, that was Denise Pioliver on the train. She literally was like, these were the tools that I was looking for to create my business. I'm not kidding you guys. I did not know how to create my business. I'm a JCF 2 years now. I just did not have the pragmatic tools. Go away after this call and take a look at the book where Simone talks about creating 6 impossible things about before breakfast. This is the place where it allows you overcome every stop that you've ever had. There's a tool for everything. There is a team here to support you. I often pinch myself. I'm like, this is my world. You know, this is the world that I was asking for, and it's here, guys. And I suppose you got to reach for it really too, don't you? Yeah.
And can I just add, no matter what you do in the world, like these tools, like I see John Ashford on the Zoom. I'm going to call you out a little bit. Because if you don't know John, he is a man that lives, like that's someone who's living joy business, you know. I actually just I wrote you an email today, John, because I met with someone who runs a prison program here with inmates, because I was like, what would it take to get bars here in the prisons? So whatever's fun for you, and I just, you know, came across this man by meeting someone at my kid's barbecue, you know, and I was like, ooh, that's light. I'm going to go with that. I'm going to have this conversation. And someone kept asking questions, and, you know, but when you have that joy for what you are creating in the world, people will start asking you like what you're doing. And then if you have something like that, like John does, working with the stories that are coming from the youth that you are working with, oh my God, like changing their worlds, and that energy, like what you be, that transcends any sort of, you know, language, country, race, like economic background. And it's that joy, you know, that people pick up on, and that the tools, you know, that I've gotten from this, from Access, from Simone, from Joy Business, allow that to kind of, I don't know, just exponentialize or just got more like potency behind it.
Yeah, for me, Emily, it's kind of funny because I was hesitant to jump on here because, you know, I've never done business. I've always done work in the community with young people and families. And so then while I was listening, I just downloaded the Joy Business book. So after I get off, I listen to it while I'm working, because I was like, okay, well, I love doing this. Is this really a business? And I never thought of this as much as a business, as much as what I do. This is just what I do, and I love doing it. So it's like I can do it with my eyes closed. So I was like, how do I make this a business? How do I get this out to other people? So yeah, I got really excited. When I saw this morning, I was like, should I jump on this or shouldn't I jump on this? Because I don't know anything about business, but I do know about joy and what I love to do.
Yeah.
I'm going to be a part of this, I think. Yes.
Thank you for saying that, because that's how I was. It was like, I think the Joy Business book was the second Access book I got. And I was like you, I was like, I don't have a business. I don't want to run a business. I have 2 kids at home. But then I kept going through the book and like circling the questions and these tools. And I was like, this shit works, but I don't own like a company. I don't know what's going on. But that's it. It's this thing. And that's what's cool too, is to kind of bust apart people's worlds of what they think a business is or what applies to them. And it's like, no, you living your life and doing what you love, that is the business of living, of being alive, and that creativity, that like, you know, that going on. So thank you for saying that, because that is so true. You know, some people say to someone, do I have to know about business, or do I have to have joined it before I come, you know, to a class? And she's like, no, that's, you know, it's about that, like that energy, and kind of tapping into that. Thank you so much. Cool. Well, thank you guys so much for coming on. And If you have any other questions about anything, classes, the books, anything, you can email us at team@accessjoyabusiness.com, or, you know, ping any of us on Facebook. Anything about bars, you can write bars@accessconsciousness.com. CF questions, cf@accessconsciousness.com. And if you don't remember any of that, find us on Facebook. And that works too. Cool.
Awesome. Thank you everyone for coming.
Thank you so much. Happy creating whatever you
Thank
do.
you.
Thank you, Joy Business team.
Bye.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Bye.
Have a good day. Thank you.
Bye. Thank you very much.